Welcome, everybody, to the final score. I'm your host, Nicholas Marcinov, and today we will be breaking down the 2021 NHL Stanley Cup Finals, and we are also going to be making our predictions for the big series. Now, this is, of course, the second Stanley Cup Finals in less than a year. So that gives the Tampa Bay Lightning a chance to go back to back as champions, or will the Montreal Canadiens finally win a cup for the country of Canada in over 20 years? This is going to be a very big series, very important for the Montreal Canadiens as well as the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it right away. So, first up, we will go ahead and save the Lightning for last, seeing how they had the better record and they will be the home team for this series. Let's go ahead and talk about the Montreal Canadiens. So, the Montreal Canadiens did have a little bit of a lackluster regular season. They were part of the new North Division, where it was all Canadian teams up there fighting for a spot in the playoffs. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens were the fourth seed in the North. They went 24, 21, and 11 for 59 points on the season. Not great, but it was enough to get them into the playoffs. In the playoffs, they were able to come back being down 3-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, excuse me. And then they swept the Winnipeg Jets for nothing. And then they just took out arguably what would have been the Stanley Cup favorite after coming off of defeating the Colorado Avalanche, the Vegas Golden Knights, in 6 games. Leading the way for the Montreal Canadiens in terms of points is Tyler Toffoli with 5 goals, 9 assists, and 14 points, followed by Nick Suzuki with 5 goals, 8 assists, and 13 points, and then Cole Caulfield, who just came out of nowhere and blew everybody away with his performance in the semifinals with 4 goals, 5 assists, and 9 points. Very fitting that he was actually right below the Vegas logo, because I feel like it was him who just kind of rode this momentum and forced the Montreal Canadiens to get into the Stanley Cup Finals. So they have a great lineup of guys. There's not any one person who's really dominating the points or getting all of the goals. So that could be a benefit to the Montreal Canadiens, because they are really getting the puck everywhere. And there's not just one guy that you have to guard, because they're all working as, keyword, a team. So that's good for them. But the backbone of this team has to be their phenomenal goaltender in Carey Price. This dude is simply amazing. He has been part of some very mediocre Montreal Canadian teams in years past. The last time they went to the playoffs, they got eliminated. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2014 before they got eliminated. So Carey Price hasn't had, a really good chance to win the cup outside of that 2014 season. This season, though, he went 12-5 in the playoffs with a 934 save percentage, a 2.02 goals against average. And I only do this just because I find it somewhat interesting, is he's only 33 years old. So you can argue he's a little bit on the older side, but that's fine. This Montreal Canadiens team, and any Canadian fans who are going to be watching this, are not going to like what I'm about to say, but they were not supposed to get this far. So when you look at their first round matchup against the Maple Leafs, they weren't supposed to get past them. When you look at their matchup against the Winnipeg Jets, they weren't supposed to get past them. When you look at how they matched up against the Vegas Golden Knights, they weren't supposed to get past them. But that's not just it. That's not just where it stops, because if it were the normal divisions, if we were under the same format, they don't even make it to the playoffs. So this is what the Eastern side would look like. You have the Carolina Hurricanes as the 1 seed, 2 being Pittsburgh playing Washington. Then you have the Florida Panthers uh, Toronto Maple Leafs, Lightning. The wild cards would be the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins. You know who the Montreal Canadiens stole a spot from? The Calgary Flames. Under normal conditions, the amount of points they got would have got them third in the Pacific Division and locked in a playoff spot. But under these new division rules, they were left out of the playoffs. Everybody else in the playoffs would be there right now. But it's the Montreal Canadiens that are on some type of Cinderella run right now where they aren't even supposed to be here at all. And yet they are showing why all they need is a shot. They need people to keep doubting them because that is when they are at their best. Whenever everybody is looking beyond them, that's giving them a chance to strike. But you know who also strikes, who is also very deadly on the ice, and that is their opponents. The Tampa Bay Lightning, the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions, are going to be able to defend their cup in the finals for a second straight season. This season, though, the Tampa Bay Lightning were third in the Central with 36, 17, and 3 for 75 points on the season. Honestly, the regular season, I wasn't too impressed. Even the Florida Panthers beat them, and then also the Carolina Hurricanes. So I was like, oh, they're probably not going to make it here. But you know what? Playoff Tampa Bay Lightning are incredible. And we could go ahead and talk about how they're over the cap and whatever. That doesn't matter if you're over the cap. What matters is right now you have to keep winning. And that's what this team is doing. They are winning. So they started off by defeating the Florida Panthers 4-2 whenever they were the away team. Then they took on the Carolina Hurricanes and beat them in five when they were also the away team. And then as the home, no, I don't. Yeah, as the home team, they defeated the New York Islanders 4-3 in 7 games, just like I predicted in my last video. By the way, I want to pat myself on the back for that one. That was actually a good call by me. But in a repeat of the Eastern Conference semifinals, I guess, Eastern Conference finals, they did it again. They defeated Barry Trotz and the New York Islanders. The guys leading the team in points, Nikita Kucherov with 5 goals, 22 assists, and 27 points. This dude, he is completely unselfish. He's going to pass that puck to everybody. Uh, then you have Braden Point, 14 goals, 6 assists, and 20 points. He loves to gather points. It's in his name. And then you have Alex Killorn with 6 goals, 9 assists, and 17 points. But right behind him with 17 points as well is Steven Stamkos. It's just, the way that it was ordered was whoever had the most goals. Killorn has the most goals, and so he is considered the top 3 points getter. But the guy that I love the most on this team has to be Andre Vasilevsky, who right now in the playoffs is 12-6 with a 936 save percentage, a 1.99 goals against average, and he is 26 years old. Just for comparison, I'm 26 years old. Last year, whenever he won the cup, he was 25 years old. I was 25 years old. This dude, who is my age, is just beating the crud out of all these teams. He is an exceptional goaltender. And just to see that Andre Vasilevsky is going to go up against Carey Price, and the numbers are scary similar. 12-5, 12-6 for Andre Vasilevsky, 934, 936, 2.02, 1.99. It's so scary how similar these teams are, at least on a goaltending standpoint. Everything else, the Montreal Canadiens are a little bit better about being defensive. They like to pass the puck around a little bit more, whereas the Tampa Bay Lightning's offense is stellar. This is going to be a great, great series. And I have doubted the Montreal Canadiens the entire playoffs. As for the Tampa Bay Lightning, I learned my lesson last season whenever I didn't pick them to win a single series, and they proved me wrong. They showed me that they, whenever it comes to playoffs, are amazing. They are the title contenders. But like I said, I learned to give respect. And so I am about to give respect to the Montreal Canadiens in this final series. They get to lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Montreal Canadiens. What do you want me to say? Yes, you are on an incredible Cinderella run. However, it's the defending Stanley Cup champions. Their offense is insane. They just showed you that they can defeat the New York Islanders, who were a defense heavy game that once they got a lead, they play super conservative. This is going to be a little bit similar to that series, in my opinion. I think that it's going to go 7 games. Carey Price is going to steal games for the Montreal Canadiens, but I feel like it's going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning who just have a better hand. But that's just my opinion. And that's the great part about this video, is that's my opinion. I want to hear about what you guys think. If I'm dead wrong, if you guys want to call me out, let me know in the comments. I reply to almost everybody. So please hit me up. Let's chat about this. Andre Vasilevsky, Carey Price, Kucherov, Toffoli, Suzuki, Point, Killorn, Caulfield. The Lightning versus the Montreal Canadiens. This series is going to be insane. There is so much at risk. Can the Montreal Canadiens be the first Canadian team to bring home the Stanley Cup? Or will the Tampa Bay Lightning go back to back? There is so much at risk, and we're going to know in about 2 weeks. And that's the final score. Thank you, and good night.